Lawyer under
who is
labor
I can think this one and then to complete yeah, it's calling. Yes, I know. Thank you. From where to where?
2020.
Yes,
2020. 5 years. 5 years. Okay,
so not
okay, wait, okay. Ready? How about this?
Yeah, I asked her to join. Yeah, she will join. I sent already the link.
Okay. Okay, test. Okay. Thank you all for joining today. So we are about to start. Okay, so I will pass the mic to our FADWU Secretary, Rowena Pohar, to give an opening remark first.
Hello, good morning, everyone. How are you? Feeling great. Okay, so first I want to say good morning, and I am Rowena Borja, the chairperson of Progressive Labor Union of Domestic Worker. And at the same time, I'm the secretary of the Asian Federation of Asian Domestic Workers Unions. As we celebrate the Women's Month, today we will also talk about the most common illness. So we will hear a lot later as we discuss. So of course, thank you very much for all of you for coming today. As for the press, as a short notice, we really appreciate it for getting up early on Sunday, just to be here with us. And of course, we want to thank you also the friends and our members who are very committed to support us in this press conference. And of course, to our Filmcast sisters, thank you for your collaboration and collective effort to make this press conference happen today. So, as we go on with today's press conference, I want to introduce to you what is Filmcast. So Filmcast, as you see there, it is a Filipino migrant support society in Hong Kong. So they are a non-profit organization and established since 2012. Of course, their objective is to give moral, spiritual, and financial support to their patients. And their members are normally, or in general, it's a cancer patients and a volunteer. Of course, they also do education, like giving dissemination information to the patients who are undergoing treatments, and of course, the side effects of the treatment. So, we also discuss later on the real situation of the migrant domestic workers in Hong Kong, especially when they are terminated because they diagnose stage cancer or serious illness. So we are happy that we have three beautiful ladies here who are the officer of the film cast who will share to us what's really happening behind those terminated workers, what they need to sacrifice in order for them to get treated here in Hong Kong. So one, we will discuss later the issue on illegal termination who had diagnosed with illness and during paid sick leave. As you know, in Hong Kong, a domestic worker is entitled to a paid sick leave if she worked in the employer for the first year. She is entitled for 2 days sick leave a month, and the following year it's 4 days sick leave in a month. A total or a maximum of 120 days sick leave that she can be accumulated. So the second is the medical cost. Medical cost meaning once the worker is terminated, she is become a non-eligible person, and for example, she go to the hospital for a appointment. The cost will be $96, but because before it's $80, now it's raised on $96 if you have a contract. But once you are terminated, then the normal one, 1,230. So it's really very expensive. As you can see, our salary is not just that big. Yeah, so how can a domestic worker support her medical treatment if she has been terminated and no legal access to health care? So the number three is the salary or no salary from the migrant domestic workers who are in the care of film cast. So all of these three things we will hear from them in more details, and of course it will follow your question later. So I want to pass the mic to Janice.
Thank you, Ate Weng. So good morning, everyone. Everyone are too serious and curious, is it? So anyways, I'm Janice, the chairperson of Filipino Migrants Domestic Workers in Hong Kong, and Assistant Secretary of Progressive Labor Union for Domestic Workers. So we do know that in Hong Kong, there are a law of disability discrimination ordinance, which protects every individual, including the migrant domestic workers, from being discriminated against on the ground of disability, includes many health conditions and diseases. So let me briefly discuss with the issues of termination among migrants dealing with serious illness. Cancer really is the one who highlights our concerns. Based on the gathered information of our group, the reason of termination of the contract is due to acquired illness of the workers during their employment. When the employers find out that their employers are the employee are diagnosed with cancer or serious illness, they unfortunately terminated them without any cause. We have some reported cases that no matter whatever the time is, if they want to terminate the worker, then be it. We have a case that handled that they are not few, just few of them terminated. Imagine at 12 midnight. It's so the discrimination and human thing I cannot bear, right? So it's a sad story to the workers that experienced that, despite of their illness. I'm sorry for the sad comment regarding that one. And many instances, they will not notify their worker to leave because of the reason was they are not efficient of their duties. And we do understand, but somehow we do understand also the situation of the workers. We don't like to be ill. We don't want to bear this cancer. We know that cancer is a serious one, and it needs longer time for the treatment. And apart from that, we have the field test was documented, and 195 cases of migrant domestic workers diagnosed with cancer or critical illness during their employment. 30% of these workers are illegally terminated due to their health conditions, while their other endured various forms of abuse, including the unpaid wages and sick leave allowance, employers' refusal to cover medical expenses, and forced sacrifice of statutory rest day for hospital appointments. But some of those, after the termination, we will want to address this one. Because if you are terminated, even you have a visa, it will consider as visitor visa. So as we said, you are not entitled to have cheapest hospital bills or appointments. So it will raise to 1,000. Imagine to that. You don't have work, as Ate mentioned, you don't have work and everything, but you deprive of your rights to being cured. So that's the saddest thing. And so we have those patients that been in the Philippines, and because they don't have future or they don't have hope here, so they went back home and looking for that another option, alternative. Like say they are seeking for help for the NGOs in the Philippines, but sadly it's a big long queue. You cannot cure immediately compared to here in Hong Kong. So that's the thing that we would like to address to the government, that we're appealing for after the termination. I would like to highlight this one, that we give a treatment that same as the working visa you have. So that we have the rights and the chance to be cured here in Hong Kong, even though you don't have a working visa. Because that is the main problem of the migrants, that you cannot avail the cheapest hospital bills if you don't have a working visa. So we hope that the government will give the consideration, because we just come here to work and to serve and to give support to the family. So how can we continue that if we deprive our rights? Thank you very much. And I will pass the microphone to Noreen to tackle the medical bills.
Thank you, Denise. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your time and being with us today. I'm Noreen, the secretary and one of the volunteers of FilmCast. On behalf of the migrant workers with critical illnesses, I will be sharing with you their medical coverage difficulties with their employers. They keep their employment but suffering from medical fees. There are numbers of workers shouldering their medical or hospital bills. Out of the 67 reported cases who are still in Hong Kong, 30 of them covered their own medical expenses. 13 of them partly covered by their employers, and the rest of them has a medical coverage from the employer, but that doesn't mean they are all in a better situation. They have their problem apart from that medical issues. The worst situation is when they are short of budget, because some are required with a costly medical fees, like for example the PET scan, CT scan, and other kind of tests required by the doctor. Their only way is to borrow money from their friend, which again causes problem for them. Their unbearable situation is not easy to survive. But why do they still choose that kind of agreement? Not all the employers understand the struggles of the workers. Most of the workers are afraid to lose their job and do not get the chance to be treated. As the ruling of the termination that Janice mentioned, MDW are only allowed to stay here in Hong Kong for 14 days with tourist visa, not eligible to access the health care provided by the government, which could possibly lead to a more complicated status to a worker who's dealing with illness. According to my personal assessment, towards those who are receiving proper care and with support networks, their willpower fueled them to stand again and face all the hurdles, and became more courageous to overcome their unimaginable situation. With your understanding and support, we could somehow uplift the spirits of our fellow countrymen and give them hope again for a better and worry-free life. Thank you. Now again, I'm passing the mic to Rose.
Hello, good day everyone. Hello, good day everyone. I'm Rose, one of the officers and treasurers of FELCAS Hong Kong, and also a PRO of Progressive Labor Union. I will discuss about the salary. Who is working without receiving salary, monthly salary? Awareness about the difficulties in salary of migrants dealing with serious illness, specifically in cancer. As we all know, cancer treatment needs some time in order to address the roots of the cancer cells, operation, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and so on. If a worker has aggressive cancer cells, that's another thing. But why do we need to call out the attention of the government on these kinds of issues? According to the case report, some of the workers agree on the terms of the employers. Most of the workers don't have the courage to stand their rights because of their vulnerable situation. Dealing with the entire journey upon diagnosis until the treatment is not easy to bear. Their only option is to deal with the less complicated part and get all the possible help they need to be able to attend all the necessary hospital's appointment. In these regards, more problems piled up in the workers because more apprehensive, which is definitely not helping the circumstances of the workers. Thank you. And I'm passing the mic to Janice.
Hello again. So this time we will tackle about the paid sick leave. As we know that not all the workers, even the employers, are aware of this paid sick leave. So, Rowena mentioned earlier what is the computation or the information about paid sick leave. As we gathered data from our patients, we handled 80% of them without paid sick leave, meaning to say most of the employers didn't give them rights to have or to pay the sick leave of the patients. And not all, but some of those 20% of employers are given the paid sick leave to the patients. So it's so serious that these deprivations of paying the sick leave to the patients, it's so unbearable sometimes, especially if they are very ill. And some of the employers trying to swap the holidays. So if you have an appointment to the hospital, they're trying to swap the day so that they can cover up all the day that they didn't work. Even they are weak. There's example of that is workers ask the employers to do works and get the kids at school, even they are very weak. So, but because of duties, they're trying to follow, of course, the employers what they want to do. So, I hope that we will like to give this emphasize the sick leave to the employers. Thank you. I will pass the microphone to Anne.
So there will be some cases I will show in my video.
So there will be some sharing in the Zoom. I hope you know her. This is the sister of Mary Jane Alas.
Hello everyone, my name is Marian Alas and I am Baby Jane's younger sister. Year 2018, I encouraged my sister to come in Hong Kong to work because she was a single mom and she has 5 kids. I met this family that signed for her and she flew in Hong Kong 2018, November. She started working with this family. In this family, she don't have her own room. She literally sleep on the storage area, which is under the stairs, where they put some of their stuff. At nighttime, my sister needs to take out all the stuff so she could sleep. She can put her single mattress bed, and in the morning, she needs to put it back. She wasn't given enough food also, but this problem she understand because I explained to her that in Hong Kong, not all her helpers are lucky to have their own room. And when it comes to food, I just make sure, and some Sundays, if we met on our off days, I gave her extra money so she can buy her own food. Before she could go out and on her off day, she needs to walk the dog. And at night time, she needs to go back early also so that she needs to walk the dog. All of this, it's okay with her. It's fine with her because in Philippines, we're not rich. We know how to do things also. So on this small problem, she just let it go. She understand it. The problem occurs only one day. She sent me a message, a photo actually, with her. She's bleeding very, very. I think you know that her pants, it's all wet with her blood. I said, what's happening? She said, I'm bleeding 2 months already. I just want to tell you because I don't want you to be scared. I told her this Sunday we need to go and have it checked. So we went to this doctor. She checked on her, and then on that very day, she told us that she has a cancer. And I was like, how come, already you didn't even do any lab tests? And she said, the moment I saw your sister's private parts, I know that it is a cancer. So to make sure, she gave her a referral to go to Chunmun Hospital to have her biopsy. She informed also her employer that we went to the clinic that day and they said, it's okay, go first to Chunmun and let's see how it is. Yeah, she went to Chunmun and it was confirmed she has a cervical cancer. It's stage 3B. At first, the relation with the employer, it's okay. And then I don't know where did it start. yeah, she was confined to Pukoy Hospital, and then when she went back home, she was terminated. She was terminated by her employer on February 19. So she lost all her chances to have a medication in Hong Kong. Luckily, my employer, she did a fundraising, and then she collected the money. She did her chemotherapy in Adventist. It was a pro bono. I did give it for free for her. Also, in Glen Eagle, she had her surgery there. They removed her cervix, they removed her ovary and fallopian tube. They remove it all. I'm not so sure because I'm not good on this medical thing. Yeah, they removed 3 of her parts of her body inside. She filed a complaint to her employer under labor tribunal, and then she was given a money. It's 30,000 under employment ordinance. Then we filed also a case in EOC. It's 2019. Until now, it wasn't done yet. We didn't do any hearing yet because the employer is nowhere to be found. They said she's not in Hong Kong anymore because all her asset is not here anymore. Yeah, she was nowhere to be found. So the case is still ongoing. It's been 6 years. I hope, I think this year we might get a chance to have a hearing even without her. We pursue it because it's not about money or what. It's about awareness, because the pain that they caused us when I lost my sister. Oh yeah, my sister died after the surgery. She needs to go back home because she don't have visa in Hong Kong already. So she went back home. And there she passed away. She passed away in 2020. She left her 5 kids behind, and then the case is still ongoing. I hope this year we get a chance to finish what is need to finish, because I feel like I cannot move on completely thinking about this case. It was sad, but what happened already. I just want to say thank you also to those people who didn't leave us behind. The EOC, I know it took long, but they did all their best. They keep updating us in these 6 years. Their job was very, I sometimes I feel embarrassed already, but they were very into it. They keep updating us, which we're very thankful. I hope it finished this year. I want to move on completely also. I think I can say that the justice in Hong Kong is quite slow for us helpers. I'm not sure with the other helpers, but on our situation, it was very, very slow. Me and my family, also her kids, we cannot completely move on until it's finished. We want to set also a good example to other helpers that if you know that your right was invaded, then you have to fight for it. It was sad. I don't know. I just ran out of words. I hope it's finished this year. 6 long years of waiting. I want to move on completely about the nightmare, but I can't until it's not finished yet. Yeah, her kids, they were still studying in the Philippines. 3 of us, now I have 2 other sisters here helping me to raise them. That's all. Yeah.
Okay, so one sharing was already done. So let's move to the second sharer. Her name is, she's also a breast cancer. And her name is Dai Dai. Breast cancer and thyroid. Sorry.
你哋好，早晨，我叫弟弟，係我識講中文，我喺香港好耐，1994年我喺香港。我個故事2020開始。Sorry for those who don't understand English. I might continue speak in English much better.
Yes.
I can translate.
December 2020, when I was diagnosed left breast cancer, stage 3C, at Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Jordan. It was quite hard for me to accept the truth that I had a cancer. I was crying with my employer, begging her that I want to stay in Hong Kong to be treated. And I thank God for that. They do understand my situation. They never let me down. They supported me until every day, once a week, I need to go to hospital and spend one day queuing up for a long queue just to bear and to be treated. Thank God, I survived. Unfortunately, after working 4 years with them, they relocated to other countries. Too sad for me, they cannot bring me together, as that time was pandemic, and I haven't even vaccinated once, as that country need 3 times vaccinated. But too sad for me, that time I was still on chemotherapy. I need to do under radiation and targeted therapy for 18 months. I was completely finished all the treatments until suddenly they relocated. Too sad. And then I decided not to go home back yet, as I want to make sure that I'm completely healed. So I stayed. O King Chi, Lao Dai Han, Hong Kong Yi, O Hai Hong Kong Yi, O 俾我老闆睇，我做得到㗎，我做到㗎，我醫得到㗎。Thank God, I got found a new employer. They're good, they're nice. But the problem is, as my continue appointments to my illness, I was paying my own bill. I was paying in my own pocket my hospital bills. And lately I got operated on my thyroid for the 2nd time. I admitted again. Even though a small amount, it was already big amount from our own pocket. And during the time, I still told myself, I can do it. I can do it. I know I will be healed. As every day goes by, every day, I was getting older. I feel like my whole body is getting weak every day as my hair started to fall from black to gray, from gray to white. Now I'm 50 plus, so yeah. To my fellow workers, our health is very important. Our health is our wealth. And telephone and the bills from the hospital for the first time, like the first another department, OB-GYN, you need to pay 135 for the first time. It's already quite heavy from my pocket. And during my appointments, I'm willing to swap my holiday to work on Sunday just to go to the hospital for my appointment. Now, I thank you all as my hair grows back, and I'm willing, and I know, thank you to all the doctors and nurses. They doing very well. They do very well their jobs, and they know what they've been doing. The only problem is The hospital bill is from my own pocket. Thank you so much. I pass to the mic.
Thank you, Ate Dai, for your sad story sharing. And so let's move on to another sharer. She's on online. A breast cancer and a thyroid also. May we call on Ate Maria? She prepared to use her alias. Sorry, thank you. Ate.
Is this her real name?
No.
Okay, okay. So can you ask her to unmute? Hi, Reese, sorry, Maria, we can't hear you.
Maybe she is.
Hello.
on mute.
She's unmuted.
Unmuted already.
Maria, can you hear us?
Sorry for the technical issue.
Hi, Maria, you can speak now.
Is it me?
Yes, yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, hi.
Yes. Is it you?
Hi, good morning. Yeah, okay. Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Lisa, and then actually I put my name, Reese John Ray. I have diagnosed breast and thyroid cancer last 2023, and then my employer support me even on my checkup, the processing of my cancer. But both of my sorry, both of my employers support me every time for my checkup and then of my surgery. Um, they always be with me, and then uh, of my the payments also, I don't have any problem of it. And then all my like even on my food, they call someone to make a food for me. And actually they wanted to get a nurse to take care of me, but I told them that no need because I can do myself even in slowly. And then until now, actually I got surgery last 2023 October 2029 for my breast stage 1, and then 2024 I got surgery for my thyroid, also stage 1. And then um they always ask me what I need, what to buy for me. And then they always take care of me, even they are busy. um and my employer also wants to help those have a cancer patient, cancer here in Hong Kong. um I don't have any problem. I'm so happy. I'm so blessed that I have my employer like them to support me all the way. And even my they asked me if I want my kids with me here in Hong Kong. But I told them no need because I can manage myself even the struggle I had. Because they all good to me, and they always support me. I think all I can say is I'm so blessed. I'm so happy to have them, and so thankful, and to the people who helped me, also to the film cast, and to the all the doctors in the hospital. What on the of my surgery. Think that's all I can say. That I have no any problem to my cancer while I'm on my surgery, and until now they always support me on my follow-up checkups, and so on. They always ask me what I need and what to do, and I'm sharing to them my schedule every time. um they knows when I go and what I'm doing. They knows because I'm sharing to them um my schedule for my follow-up checkup. I think that's all, and thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Ate Reese. She shared that not we didn't all the bad employers, but one of the example is story of Ate Reese that her employer was very supportive. In fact, we met her, and she's a good example as a supportive one. Thank you, Ate Risa, for your story. I will pass the
Okay, thank you.
to Anne. Sorry, the other way.
Thank you very much, Janice, Noreen, and Rose, and again to all of us in this room for supporting us all the way. It's very sad, and of course, there is also a positive, like the one who shared in the Zoom. And I hope that employers are the same like her employers, yeah? So, but the reality is not. Most of the employers are not supporting their domestic workers when they're in their darkness hour, which the domestic workers supposed to be with them on their side. So I'm sorry I carried away because I'm sure these things could happen to every one of us, even though the one inside the room and the one that we are sharing now, it could be also happen to the thousands of migrant domestic workers here in Hong Kong. So our demands, of course, to the government is one, grant migrant domestic workers who file discrimination claims due to illness to health condition, continued access to public health care at the eligible person rate. Yeah. So like what Ate Daida is sharing, that all her medical bills are from her pocket. And we all know that domestic workers come here in Hong Kong to support our family in the first place. But of course, no one won't like to be get sick. And number two, enforce existing labor laws to protect migrant domestic workers from illegal termination and exploitation. Again, we hear the sharing of the sister of Mary Ann. She shared the law enforcement in Hong Kong. It's been 6 years, but the employers got away. Yeah. So Mary Jane already died, passed away, but still the justice is not yet being served. So yes, it's true that there's a lot of migrant domestic workers laws and policies in Hong Kong, but the problem is very low enforcement. And then third is the increased awareness of migrant domestic rights and provide accessible to legal support. We hope that the government will do something to have access to support these sisters who have gone through this kind of illness, because we don't have our family here in Hong Kong. We are far away from our family, so our employers is our second family, and Hong Kong is our second country. So important really is the support that we can get from you and people around us. And third is to have a medical access treatment while our cases is ongoing. That is very important, yeah. Because we are, because as domestic workers, we have also our rights to have treatment here in Hong Kong. Of course, we will not. That is not for lifetime, yeah. Just for the time being, while we have our cases here. But when our cases was finished, then we can go back home to have treated in the Philippines. But of course, again, there is not guarantee that our life will be, prolonged for a longer time. So that's our demand to the Hong Kong government. We hope that they will do and listen to our concerns, especially in this issue, so that it will not be, a problem for us migrant domestic workers in accessing the accessible or the how to call this, the low cost of medical cost or treatment in Hong Kong. So again, thank you very much for all of you. And if anyone who have a question in the panelists, the floor is now open for your question. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. Connor Mycroft from the South China Morning Post. Thanks for organizing this today. For the 195 cases you've identified, can you just share the timeline? Because some of the sharing today was from, as early as 2019. So from what years are these 195 cases been identified? And how many of them have actually tried to pursue claims with the labor tribunal or other means? And what's generally the success rate, I guess, for those that do? And if they don't, or if they don't go to the labor tribunal, can you just kind of elaborate a bit on why, like the difficulties that migrant domestic workers have trying to pursue their legal rights within the framework as they are in Hong Kong? Thank you.
You said a lot.
It's quite long one. Okay, thank you for the question, sir. Since 2020, we gathered all the patients. That's why we come up at 195 cases, but those are the cases that was reported to us. But we still have rampant numbers outside in our vicinity. So they are still seeking for help, but they don't know how to. And the second one was, because it's quite long. Second one.
How many have pursued action with the labor tribunal?
So we calculated as, I think, 20% of those went to labor department and asked for seeking help for that case. And sad to say, only 10% of that was successfully compensated. Yes. So I'm so sorry. So most of them didn't give justice for that, and they decided to go back home. For what reason? That the employers are not cooperative. They didn't give the demands of the patients, and they just like ignore. That's why the case didn't prosper.
In addition to that, I think the most difficult one, why they did not pursue the cases, when upon termination, they will have a visitor visa or tourist visa. So they are not eligible to access the healthcare provided by the government. Second one is of course, the accommodation. The accommodation that they need to pay, their food allowance, how can they survive? And then when they file a case, there's no guarantee that they're going to be successful in that case, or they're going to get the proper demands that they need to get. So I think that's the most difficult one, is the delay of the treatment is matters a lot. Especially when the worker is has the aggressive cancer cells. So every second matters. So that's the thing. I think because that's my assessment for their cases. Thank you.
Several questions from my part. I'd like to know that for those cases who lost their job, how many cases is reported to the Labor Department, and has the government or Labor Department, how do they respond to those complaints? And do you believe that their actions are, are useful or is sufficient to cater the problems the workers are facing? And the second question is related to those workers who are terminated due to the illness. What the financial and legal consequences for them, especially when they considering the high cost of private medical treatments after losing their work? Thank you.
So when it comes to Labor Department, based on my knowledge, as they filed the case, the Labor Department, I think not doing the job to follow up what's after the filing the case, what happened, is the demand already settled. So I don't think the Labor Department do a lot of work on in every cases. So it's always between the employer and the worker. If my understanding is right with your question.
So in addition, I just want to share this case. I don't want to drop the name, but it's a breast cancer patient. We tried to help her to file a case to the Labor Department because of the termination at midnight, and he's on his her treatment. And somehow the Labor Department, the good thing for the Labor Department, they extend the visa. So as they will give a letter to the immigration, and the immigration will give a visa to stay while the case is ongoing. So, and afterwards, the patient seek help for the NGOs or someone who can help them to help during the tribunal process. And regarding about the, sorry ma'am, about the expenses of the medical thing, can you repeat please? And the microphone please.
Can explain more, how would the workers who lose their jobs when they find treatments from Hong Kong hospital, they have to face higher cost, right?
Yes.
And what is the situation they face at that time? And what is the most serious cases you guys have here, or do you have help? Thank you.
Okay, so in terms of their financial seeking help, so normally we have different cases. We have one of the patient asked for what do you call this, fundraising? So fund run, is it the fund run, if I'm correct? Yeah, some are asking seek for that help, and we have also some of those employers are generous enough and very helpful to them. That's why they can come up that amount in order to continue the treatment, even in the high price of the hospital bills. And also Comcast extending help, but because of our limited fund, because we just only get our funds during like say for a cause, raffle for a cause. Those are the things that we do so that we can get some funds. So we also help that, but for sure it is enough. So some of the workers asking help for the different friends, Filipino communities and everything. They tried everything just to seek help and money. They can come up money.
Can I ask for clarification? Those are the one who still have the contract, but the employer don't pay the medical fee or the terminated.
The terminated one.
How they extend their visa?
So normally they extend visa, like if you are terminated, then they will go to the labor department, file a case, then after that goes to the immigration, as what I mentioned before. So just a month,
1 month.
less than a month. But if the case is ongoing and going to high court, so it will extend more and more, like the one that the FADWU helping the case. Sorry for not dropping the name. It's quite complicated.
Thank you, Denise. But just for clarification, once the domestic workers extend the visa, of course, she need to pay again and again and again. So there's really a lot of financial expenses for them. Yes, any question from our?
Clarify the numbers of the cases. So you got like totally 195 cases since 2020, and 30% of them like contract being terminated, and 20% seek for help like to the labor department, but only 10% of them like got a success in the
Good employees.
And so rest of the 70% cases, is it include, you got some more numbers at back? It's 67 cases being like they being like exploration by the employer. So is it included in the 195 cases?
Yes,
And
yes,
what happened to the rest of the cases?
The rest of the cases, because usually the rest of the case, those who are terminated, when they are really struggling, their decision is just to go back home. So most of them, so the 67 who is also still in Hong Kong, which we are still connected, as we mentioned earlier, 30 of them,
Right.
yeah,
They're still under
they're still under the employment, but they cover their own medical bills. So that's the thing.
So is it in total 195 cases, only 10 helpers have the full support of
Yes,
employer?
full support, but still there's still beyond that there's still some problems regarding food. There's still a lot of problems occur in the fully support in a medical terms, in a medical issues, but there are still aside from that there are still a problem beyond of the situation.
I have some question about
Did I know?
that again. You mentioned that you're still employed, right?
Yeah.
But you mentioned that you have to pay for your own medical expenses.
Yeah.
And you have to how much in total have you paid, and you have to like sacrifice your holiday for the medical checkup.
Yeah.
Like how many days in total you have to sacrifice?
Actually, it's not days. As time goes by, after operation, as my doctor said, they touch on menu na kay amang hoy chija. Until now, still follow-up checkup continue. As I have my appointment, I still need to pay. Once I've got another appointment, I still need to pay.
How much in
Say something.
total?
Like,
Approximately, how much you pay for that?
like last time, I was admitted, I paid 195 for my thyroid. I was admitted, 195. So next time I have another appointment, I need to pay 96. Once I go and see my oncologist, 96. Once I go and see my OB/GYN, for the first time, 195. For the first time on that department, 135. So another follow-up appointment, it turns like 96. So every time you have an appointment, you need to pay. Thank you.
How often do you have the appointment?
For now, I have my OB/GYN department. I have blood test. Blood test is free on July.
Tanong mo kung ilang beses. Kung sa isang linggo,
Once. In a month, once checkup, once appointment.
So it's like in every month you need to spend a few hundred on
You're
your
right,
own.
right. Thank you.
Additional to that, some other patient, especially the other is, for example, 5 years your appointment, and then every year we have 2 or 3 appointment every year. In total, in 5 years.
If it's follow-up.
Yeah,
It's
follow-up.
after the treatment. Because after operation,
After operation, we have an appointment, and then the doctor indicated or how many years go back to the hospital for appointment. For example, every year you have 2 to 3 appointment every year, and then every appointment you need to pay before $80, and I don't know now.
96.
So, sorry, ma'am, just want to expand more. We have, those are only the following appointments, like the monitoring of, appointment. But, if we pertains to the chemotherapy, radiotherapy, it's every day. I think one of the patient is here. No, just want to share how many days you need to go to the hospital for the chemotherapy or the radiation thing. Ate Day, ilang
Ayun na siya,
Ate Day, ilang
Chemo?
chemo?
During chemo, every 3 weeks, one time.
Radiotherapy yung everyday baga?
Radiotherapy was 21 days, Monday to Friday. That was 96 every day, Monday to Friday. Within that cycles for 21 days, the radiotherapy.
So like all the treatment you use your own.
Right.
holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kaya wala na siyang day.
Even annual leave. They treat us, they gave me as annual leave to my radiation.
So just to
See?
cover up the
Just to
absence.
cover up my follow-up radiation. Supposed to be that annual leave I need to spend, go back home to take a rest, right? But no, I use my annual leave for my radiation, Monday to Friday for 21 days. Is it fair enough, or is it injustice or justice to use my annual leave? That's my question. They gave my annual leave during my radiation
Just to use
just to use it. Supposed to be annual leave to spend the holiday in the Philippines back home, right?
Yeah.
So is it justice or injustice?
Yeah, the problem is the worker also entitled to the paid sick leave.
Right. Then how come my annual leave becomes going on and off to hospital for my rejection. It's funny, but it's true. This is the reality. I experienced myself. And I thank you.
So meaning you don't have your holiday
I
already?
have some follow-up questions because for this is new employer, right?
The previous one.
But during your sharing, you said after the old one relocated,
Yeah.
you found new employer.
Yeah.
So your chemotherapy, is it during the first or
The first
one?
employer, those who relocated. I'm lucky enough, before they relocate, I completed all my treatments.
So now for the new employer, you only pay for the follow-up.
Yeah.
You no longer have any other treatment to pay, right?
Yeah.
So, but when you are employed by this new employer, she already know your situation.
Yes.
So did you have any feeling on how to cover the medical costs or something? Or the holiday, how to spend the holiday? Did you have
The holiday, I'm willing because, I know my work was tough and everyday busy. So I know the situation, how to cope with my employer, just a good relationship. I don't want to demand more, so that I want to just want to protect myself and my work. That's it. Very simple.
So for how to use the holiday to go, using the holiday to go to follow up, is it already discussed before?
Yeah.
So you know that she will ask you to use the annual leave for follow up when you sign the contract. Do you?
No. We didn't agree that because that time I don't know that I had cancer yet, right?
No, this new one.
This new one.
You say you still have to pay for your own follow up now.
Yeah.
This is new employer.
Yes.
So when you're employed, the new employer know you have cancer before.
Yes.
So she know you have to still go to follow up, right?
Yes.
So does she or you discuss on how to use the holiday or to give you any sick leave for on your follow up date? Did you have discussion before you sign the contract?
No. Just the contract already ongoing, and I'm telling I have another appointment coming up. So yeah, since is weekday, right? There's no appointment on Saturday. There's no appointment on Sunday during our day off. So I have no choice. I need to swap.
So you get the sick leave from the doctor and
Yes.
you give to your employer.
Yes.
And then they ask you to use your holiday.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I still have one question for you. When your second employer, is it the second employer asks you to use your annual leave for the follow-up treatment?
No, that's the previous one.
The first one.
Yeah, the first one.
When she asked you to do so, did you stand up for yourself and say no?
I did, but the time they are about to go out of town, so I have no choice. I will stay at home alone. They all going on a vacation without me because I'm during the time I'm still under treatment. So what to do, right? I have no choice.
How do you feel when they just leave the town and just leave you at the home?
I feel so sad. I feel so bad. They left me behind during treatments and then they use my annual leave as going to the hospital as my treatment. Yeah, just cry alone in my room.
Do you think this is unfair to you?
It's unfair. So that's why I feel so like in injustice. It's an injustice.
I have one more question for you guys. You guys have mentioned that a lot of workers, they are illegally terminated after they have been diagnosed with cancer.
Yes.
Do you think the law in Hong Kong is enough to protect their rights? And if not, what the government can do to help them?
That's right. Okay, so, yes, that's right. Some of those, patients was, illegally terminated. And, to the government here in Hong Kong, so I think they didn't do anything for us, for our observation in, assisting all the patients. Because once they was terminated, um, they don't have like a room for staying here and for, continuous their treatment. Instead, they have to go to the labor just to seek help, so to file a case. Then only the visa that they can only get. But the thing is, it's a visitor visa. It's not as working visa that they can avail the cheapest, bills in the hospital. It's kind of, there are, patients that still hoping that they can be treated, but the thing is they cannot afford this, expensive bills. So what they did is just go back home. And, some just only, I think small percentage that they are also, trying to find an employer. But sad to say, because of their situation, their health conditions, there's zero hope. So, yeah, no chance for them.
Can I add for what Jen is saying? I think for the government, what they really need to do, like what I said before, yes, it's true that there's a lot of laws and policies in Hong Kong to protect us migrant domestic workers, but it's not 100% protecting us. So we demand that the government, it's time to review those policies so that the domestic workers will have an equal labor rights like any other workers. Thank you.
Can I also add on something like,
Yes.
yeah, because the law, unlawful termination is only during the medical sick leave, but a lot of employer, they know it is illegal to terminate during the sick leave, so they will ask you if you still have a sick leave or not, and then they make sure your sick leave is finished, and then they terminate you.
Yes. And can I add on that? Yes, but still, if the employer terminate you after your sick leave is still illegal. Because the reason why they terminated you is due to that you don't have already your your paid sick leave. But of course, we know that you can still have your continuous sick leave, but of course, it depends to the employers and to the employee. But in legality, the employers would no longer pay your sickness day. Yes.
Yeah, and one more to add is for the Labor Department to do something. In these cases, the Labor Department has the right to prosecute the employer who break the employment ordinance for illegal termination, but they require the worker to be the prosecution witness. That means the worker needs to stay in Hong Kong to testify. But the problem is worker cannot access to medical in Hong Kong. So no worker will stay in Hong Kong to be the prosecution witness. Then no employer will be prosecuted.
Strongly agreed.
I want to clarify some statistics. For the 195 people, 30% were terminated illegally, and then you also mentioned there are other exploitations. Do you also have the percentage for other situations like they were not paid for sick leave and the employer refused to pay their medical fees and they have to give up their holidays? Like how many respective percentages do you have any of the statistics?
So
What is the real question?
so are you asking the 67 one who are still in Hong Kong or as in time in general? So the statistic of those patients. So as far as I know, because this is the 67 out of 195, 67 of them are still in Hong Kong working with their employer. So sorry to say, but those people who are reported to us, some of them we lost our contact. So we cannot tell how percentage who are still in the situations, their situation. I cannot speak for them because we lost our contact. We already lost our contact.
You can still speak on the one you have contact.
Yes.
How many percentage?
So the 67 one, as I mentioned before, 30 of them covered with salary, but they covered their own medical bills. Then the 13 of them are partly covered by the employer, and then the rest of them are supported by the employer. So that's the information I can give for now.
And then you mentioned, besides the 30% who were illegally terminated and these 67 and other people, they, when they were diagnosed with the illness, then they just leave themselves, like they were not terminated by their employer, like for the rest of the workers. Like besides the 30% who were illegally terminated and then the 67 who were still employed. And then they were like not terminated by the employer, but then they decided to just leave Hong Kong themselves.
Yes, because of their health condition. So they got not able to work, even though they like to. But the thing is, they are quite weak. They cannot work as, let's say, fit to work. And the employers are not happy for that. So that's why they have a dialogue with the employers and decided to go back home.
Go back home instead. Because there's a lot of concerns. When you are terminated, there's a lot of concerns to attend to. And mental health is a number one factor also. There's so much to think about the situations here. We all know that there's no accommodations are offered by the government to those who are terminated. There are shelters, but some of them are not strong enough to say, I will just stay in the shelter, because when you are in the shelter, you are not allowed to work or to earn money to fund your medical bills. So that's the major problem. So how can they attend the hospital appointments? How can they continue their treatment if they don't have the money, if they don't have the sources? So the thing is, how about the government offer the accommodation while ongoing the treatment, or they give the visa, the working visa, or the for them to be eligible to access the hospital, the healthcare provided by the government. So that's the major thing. That's why most of the terminated, those who are suffering for the ill treatment, they just decided to go back home instead of staying here, instead of thinking of how do they need to be treated. So they'd rather go back home than to stay here in Hong Kong, because there's a lot of complications where you are staying here and you just only have a tourist visa, visitor's visa.
And you mentioned like 20% they filed a complaint to the Labor Department. Does it also include those who filed complaint to EOC? or,
Yes, in general.
Get
Just in general, yes.
and
For someone.
how many years does it take average, like, for example, for EOC, to proceed?
It's taken ages. Sorry for that. So other, it takes a years and
Takes a
years,
year,
yeah.
and in EOC.
Yeah, like the baby J's case, 6 years.
Yeah. Right, up until now. Because it always depending on the response of the employer. It always depending on the response of the employer. When you file a case, if the employer is cooperative with a, and again, as they mentioned earlier, the law enforcement is not that strong. So I think that's the main factor. That's why
It takes
decided
quite
to go back home. Yeah.
And then the bottom line, always go back home. Of course, we're not demanding to stay in Hong Kong for a long,
Yes.
for us.
Yeah.
We're not demanding to stay. As long as the issue to be resolved, at least they give the time frame, the period of time to stay here up until the issues was resolved. Are there any like successful cases before for the EOC?
We don't have that kind of report.
Report.
Yeah. So mostly of the patients is just in the low ground. So we never been in the AOC, we have a case, but it takes time. It takes years and haven't resolved yet. Yeah, some are already died already. They couldn't wait.
How many of them already died? You know?
Based on the report is because some of those who are already in the Philippines, we lost contact. So for now, the record is 54 of them already died.
Out of the 195?
No, not out of the 125. It's since the establishment of our group. Since 2012. So only 54 of them are reported who passed away already. Because some are we already, when they go back home, we already lost our contact, so we don't know what happened to them. Especially those who are not in social media, so there's nowhere to find them.
So we just stick on 2020, since it's able to do some sum up report. But in fact, since we established our group, we still lots of numbers that already say died, terminated, and different cases. But we have also cases we handled that they're on their regular checkup, meaning to say they are slowly curing something the process. So it's still in the numbers. And sad to say the others didn't make it. So
I also want to clarify with tie-dye. You mentioned, so the previous employer, they made you to do the treatment on using your own annual leave, and then you have to use like all the 21 days
Right,
annual leave.
right.
Right. And then for the new employer, how long have you been employed with this employer?
2 years and 3 months.
2 years, 3 months. And then, because legally speaking, they have to pay your medical fee. So, have you ever like discussed this with your employer? Like, did they say anything about
No,
why they're not paying you, or you have to?
no. Actually, I have lately I know she bought an insurance. Then I wanted to claim that 195, and then I don't really understand why I cannot claim the 195 since it's less than 300. I didn't use that much, so I cannot claim the 195.
To ask her to claim, but then she didn't.
Yeah, she also cannot claim to the insurance because it's less than 300.
And how do you feel about this financial burden?
So what to do?
It's okay. You know, we Filipinos are very dangerous. We are very generous. Actually, we are more richer than them.
We're not dangerous.
We are not dangerous. We are generous. Filipino people are very generous, not dangerous. Like,
Sometimes,
it's
yeah.
a little bit dangerous. Fighting cancer
Yes.
is just, yeah. Anyway, thank you so much, Screencast, for supporting me during my darkest moment. You are always there. Even a small amount, it's a big amount for me. Your courage, your encouragement, your full support, spiritually, financially, materially, especially the vegetables, always there. Fruits, always there. Thank you so much, Screencast. More power.
Okay, thank you, Dai Dai.
No more patience coming.
Can I add about, as we mentioned about the insurance? Also, we think that is also one problem for us, the insurance. Why? Because most of the employers buy us the insurance very cheap. Yeah, only if you have headache, you have flu, that's what the covered of our insurance. But of course, again, it depends to the employer what kind of insurance she will vote for you. But in general, they vote for us the cheapest one, the 300 Hong Kong dollars. Yeah, but there is a worker I know that her employer bought her the insurance covered all until she will diagnose this kind of sickness until she died. So I think her insurance is 100,000 Hong Kong dollars. So I hope all also employers are generous.
Not dangerous.
Not dangerous, yeah.
Dangerous.
Okay, so maybe I think this is also one problem that maybe try to more wider the insurance for the migrant domestic workers. Yes. But of course, we know that the employers also, they have also their own expenses with their families. Yeah. So we also know that once the employer hired a domestic worker, this is one package. Yeah, so this should also be ready and of course be compassionate for domestic workers. Because like what I said, no one like to get sick. Yes, any more? Question?
Just to add one point about about insurance, the government also should play a part in it. Like for local domestic worker, the government was able to negotiate insurance for local domestic workers. Why don't they also negotiate with the insurance company to get a package for the migrants that covers more?
Yes, please.
I think we join to the demand.
So any more questions from the floor?
Any more?
May I ask exactly the fee for they have to pay before and after like if they don't have the visa, how much exactly they have to pay for the medical treatment, and if they still have the working visa, how much, like the exact fee of the.
I think it's always depending on the case. Because as I mentioned earlier, the PET scan, if you are aware of that, PET scan, CT scan, it costs a lot. So always depending on the medical treatment they needed. But on a regular basis, every hospital appointment, they need to pay $96 each appointment. For example, Monday they need to go, Tuesday they need to go, $96 charge to the worker.
That is if you have an employment.
If you have if you are
The
still
working
under
visa.
the employment.
If you
If you
don't
still have the visa. But when you don't have the visa, it's a different, yeah. Nori is right. That is just for appointment. How about if you have a chemotherapy? That's more expensive. So for example, the chemotherapy is 1,230 if you have your employment.
The chemo is $80 if you have
Oh,
employment.
yes, sorry. Yeah, if you have employment, but once you are terminated, you need to pay 5,000 something, 5,100. So it's 64% higher rather than.
64 times higher.
Yeah, 64 times higher than the regular price of 80%. So how much is the salary of the domestic workers? It's 4,990. Yeah. So I hope the government will increase that next year to 6,000. Yeah. So that is our demand, 6,300. Okay. So I think that's our president for today. If you have any question, anyway, I think there is a contact number and the telephone, contact person and telephone number in the press release. So anytime you are free to contact these three beautiful ladies beside me. Yeah. So any more? This is your last chance.
Always approach us with
Yeah.
our contact number.
So again, thank you for all the press and the journalists who coming here to hear our issues and concern. This is, of course, just one concern that facing the challenges of the domestic workers. Yeah. Beside there is food, accommodation like baby Jane, she sleep under the stairs of her employer's house. Yeah. So there's a lot. So, but today there is only our topic for today. So if you really don't have any question, then again, thank you very much for your time, for coming here today. Yes, especially to those press, journalists, to our leaders and members who are really very committed, yeah, and dedicated to their to support our cause.
So, on behalf of Filipino Migrants Cancer Support Group, Filmcast, we would like to say thank you and appreciated your time. And in case you want more inquiries, just let us know. We have the contacts in the one that disseminated. And also, if you want, our patients are open for an interview if you want to hear their stories. We are lovely to give their contacts and you can meet them, have an appointment with them so that it's more, you can hear all the stories behind their smile. Thank you very much.
Yes,
Thank
Doreen?
you.
Yeah. Do you want to say? Just to say thank you. Your ways will be our ways. So your support will be our support. So thank you so much for being with us today. Yeah. Thank you very much. So you'll cover our president today, then we hope that our voices will be heard. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, all of you.
Ayun pag tumayo ngayon.
Before it's 18, now 96. Yeah.
Now 96.